Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to episode 28, part two of As Seen on Screen. I'm Gracie.
And I'm Nicole, and we're your source for entertainment news, reviews, interviews, conversations, and more.
You can find us wherever you watch or listen to your podcasts on Spotify or YouTube.
Yes, well, welcome back. As promised, we are back with our mini episode today, all about Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. Gracie and I went last week on Thursday for night one of her Toronto shows. We have so much to tell you about. We are so excited. We're so grateful that we were able to go. So let's get right into it. We tried to deck ourselves out in our gear. We have our merch on, bracelets, our wristbands.
Uh,
So, Gracie, let's just start off. What's your favorite part of the show? What was your favorite part?
Honestly, the whole thing is phenomenal, but I feel like I have to show off these as I'm talking. But the whole thing was just overall so phenomenal. I will say, hearing the man live is so therapeutic. And Nicole can vouch for the fact that it took me up until she said the man, which is the second song on the set list, for me to start ugly crying.
I guess what I'm trying to say is you're making me feel like I'm the man.
Do with that information what I didn't expect to cry. Like I expected to be overwhelmed, but I don't know what hit me. I just started sobbing. And Nicole was just laughing at me, and I'm like, I can't sing and cry at the same time.
It was because, if you know the man, this is not a slow song. This is an upbeat song. And Gracie, I look over, Gracie's just like, oh my God. And she's trying to sing it. And I'm like, girl, we are like two songs in.
this is literally the second song on the set list, and I am standing there, ugly crying, tears streaming down my face. And
Oh.
I love the man. I've listened to the man so many times. I've watched the Eras Tour movie, never had this reaction to it. All of a sudden, she literally says the words "the man," and I'm like, oh my God, this
I
is
lost her. She was
it.
gone. She was
She
gone.
hadn't even started singing yet. I have a video, and it's literally of me crying and then looking at Nicole. The song hadn't even started yet, but whatever. Also loved Marjorie. I started sobbing during that too. Yeah, I'm just so amazed that she can be on stage singing for that long and performing nonstop. Like the only breaks this girl gets are when she's talking to the audience, which still she's still performing, or when she is running like a marathoner to go and change her outfits. So technically she's never getting a break, which is crazy. I love the whole thing. I will say though, Reputation will always hold a very special place in my heart. So seeing that live, so good.
Reputation was amazing because I've seen her once before this, but it was for the Red Tour. So I've never seen anything past obviously live. And Reputation was really, really good. I loved the Reputation set.
Reputation was just like a religious experience for Swifties.
I agree.
I don't know how to explain it better than that. But also, I feel like we're just saying everything is so great, but then I think of another thing and I'm like, that was great too. Tortured Poet Department
Mm.
wasn't the biggest, I can't say that I wasn't the biggest fan of the album. I was just confused how we talked about this on the podcast. I was confused how she was going to bring it to the Eras Tour with a lot of the songs being slower. It fit in so perfectly. And Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? Another therapeutic song to scream at the top of your lungs.
Or The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Another great one to scream at the top of your lungs.
Like she just has so many songs for females specifically that are so therapeutic to just scream. And shout out to the girls in front of
I
us.
was just about to say the girls in front of us really took that and ran.
Like they're singing, screaming, and then they're screaming, screaming. These girls were screaming, screaming. Like I'm pretty sure I can hear them in every single video I have. Even if it was a slow song, it sounded like,
I was listening to my video of so they were very clearly Evermore and Folklore girlies because when
yeah,
that set came on, they went full throttle into it. But there's a video, I don't know if it's Illicit Affairs, I think it might be, and
probably.
they are screaming. And at first, because it's a video we took and then like turned to Gracie and I'm like, is that me? And then I'm
With
like,
all my
it's
videos, I'm like,
no
is
way, I
that
don't
my
sound
voice?
I don't sound
Because
like
like I know I was screaming, but I purposely would not scream in my videos so that I could hear her
yeah,
when I watched them back.
me
And
too.
as soon as I stopped recording, I would ungodly scream. So I know it wasn't me. So I'm listening and I'm like, did I forget to shut up in this video? And then I hear it and I'm like, no, that wasn't me. For the videos I posted on my Instagram, if anyone's wondering if that's me screaming in the back of them, it is not. It's the people in front of us. Just
Just a little disclaimer, just in case.
a little disclaimer, because I was putting those into Instagram and I was like, someone's gonna comment and be like, Gracie, what's wrong with you? And I was like, it's not me. It's not me, girly pop.
One of the things that impressed me the most, one of my favorite parts, honestly, of our seats specifically, was seeing all the elements that she has going into the production for like
Mhm.
background graphics and even on the stage. So, I mean, obviously, if you're sitting or standing on the floor, maybe even the hundreds, you probably can't quite see the top of the stage. So, thank you, Taylor, for appreciating everyone above those levels. But she has the stage, the graphics match up or even a little different to go with each era for what's going on in the background screen. And every single song has graphics to it or like some sort of visual element that goes with it. Every single song. There's like 40 something songs in this set list.
44.
And she has background graphics and stuff for the stage for every single song. And I thought it was really well done. They go perfectly with every single song. So that was a really cool part to see, and I really liked seeing that.
The effort that she put into the show and that her team puts into this show, like not only do you have the graphics, you have the dancers, you have the confetti, you have no one tells you how warm the Bad Blood fire is.
And
Like
it just pops up too. You don't have any warning for that.
it went from like warm to like hot in that arena very, very fast.
I also
Um,
need an explanation as to why in Bejeweled there was this random like gust of air for half of the song. And I'm like, where is this coming from and why?
yeah, I mean, also another concept that I absolutely loved. Obviously, Taylor has put a lot of time and money into her outfits because each era has a different outfit. So Nicole and I were like, okay, we're gonna try and guess what each outfit is going to be because she very rarely wears the same one twice in a row. So we were like, okay, we're gonna guess. We were wrong for every single outfit. Like it got to the point where we were like, why are we even guessing? But then the next day, she wore all the ones that we guessed.
So I'd like to say we were correct, just delayed.
We saw the future.
It's gonna sound
But
much better.
speaking on that note, what surprise songs? We gotta talk about surprise songs.
Yes.
Nicole,
So
Nicole feels personally victimized by
our our acoustic surprise songs were My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys and This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. Our piano songs were False
False
God and
God.
Tis the Damn Season. Guys, they were great songs. Hearing False God live was really, really cool. But I really was really hoping for a debut one or a Speak Now one. Tell me why. Night two, she sings the mashup of Mine and I Don't Want to Live Forever, which is another song I really love. And that was just really sad to see. However, False God Live was really cool. And I mean, all four of them were really great. And the mashups She does it so seamlessly. It never ceases to amaze me when I see the videos or ours live, how seamlessly she transitions into the different songs that she's mashing up. So, yes, those were our surprise songs on night one.
We were crazy to think this would remember how I said I'd die for you. We were stupid to jump in the oceans like the rhythm this will never happen.
Yeah, I went on Twitter after the day after the concert, and everybody was like set ablaze by our mashup of This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things and My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. I didn't realize how impactful it was. Like, obviously, they're two iconic songs, and we were so happy to get them, but like, people were losing their minds over this mashup. To that point, I feel like every Toronto song we've gotten so far has been so deadly. Like, especially night three. What was going on night three? Like, this is deadly.
She said, I'm gonna show up for Toronto. And she did.
Well, you know what kind of hurt my feelings?
I
She
know what you're
said
gonna say.
that we were saving the best of the best for the third show. Excuse me, ma'am. What do you mean? I'm a huge rep stan. So when she started playing this is why we can't have nice things. I literally screamed to Nicole. I was like, Rep Taylor's version is coming. We're getting it. We're getting it. And then she moved on. And I was like, okay, cool.
She was so excited. Gracie was so excited in that moment. And then she was just like, oh.
Literally, the video I have is me screaming rep and then going quiet.
My favorite part of the show was, oh God, I don't know if I can pick a favorite one. I think, okay, Love Story has been my favorite song since I was 4. I can still remember standing in my cottage, like belting it to my grandparents because it was on the radio. So I always love hearing Love Story live. I say always. This is my second time hearing it live. Um, I love hearing Enchanted too. Enchanted was such a good one, and All Too Well 10 Minutes version. I think that was one of the moments I was most looking forward to going into the concert, and it did not disappoint.
And I was never gonna tell it. The punchline goes, I'll get home. I should never say my name. From when you're growing old, my skin goes, I'm a soldier
Something about singing that song is just so therapeutic in itself, but hearing it live and singing it with like 50,000 people is far more therapeutic than I thought it was gonna be. I loved it.
You know what was so crazy to just like stand and take in was the standing ovation after Champagne Problems.
Yes.
I have never heard cheering go from like as loud as you possibly thought it could be to 10 times louder. Like we kind of just looked at each other and we were like, there's no way we can get louder than this. And then she took her earpiece out and everybody just lost it.
Because we were there with my sister, my mom, and my sister turns to me, she's like, "You are cheering so loud."
That's what you're supposed to do.
I was like, whoa. Okay.
Girl just put her heart and soul into that piano. You're supposed to give her props.
Yeah, that was such a cool experience. And I love some of my favorite things about concerts is when everyone turns their flashlight on for whatever song. But with this concert, because we have this on the entire time, and I don't think Gracie's lights up, but like,
Mine
hello,
doesn't.
imagine 50,000 of these lighting up. Like, that's a lot of lights. But it's like, it looks like a bunch of colored flashlights. And I think that was my, just some of my favorite part because these were on basically for the whole show. And so anytime you looked around any song, they'd be different colors or whatever. But it was just so cool to see the Rogers Center lit up like that and just to really see how many people were there. It really makes you feel like you're truly surrounded by 50,000 people when you have 50,000 little lights all around you the whole time.
I was gonna say, I love the idea, and the reason she said she does these bracelets is because she wants to see like each specific person that's there. And in doing so, like each person got one, so every single light is a person. And I think that's such a cool concept because we're like looking around and we're like, oh my God, there is not an empty seat anywhere. Like every seat was full.
I said to Gracie, I'm like, how many of these do over the course of the Eras tour do you think have been made? Because
So many.
Toronto alone has to be over 300,000 because six sold out shows.
Another part we were really excited for was Cam in Bejeweled.
Yes.
And We Are Never
And
Ever
never
Getting
get back
Back
together.
Together. He killed that. We were laughing. We'll insert the clip here.
He's like, I still love you. Like, just, I mean, this is exhausting, you know, that we're never getting back together. Sorry,
We love Cam. We love Cam. I didn't realize also two of her dancers are actually from Toronto.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so I saw that they were posting. They're like, so great to be back in my hometown.
You know what? It was true because Gracie Abrams, when she was performing, she was talking about how the show, the Eras Tour itself, is just so like an array of emotions that you get throughout the 3.5 hours because you go from like happy to sad to feeling memories of hearing old songs. It takes you back to when you first heard them and like all these types of things. And it's so true. Like you're going through all these eras kind of your own life. I mean, if you're really like a diehard Swiftie and you have been for a long time, you've been listening to the music as it's been coming out throughout Taylor's career. So I think it's so true when you hear certain songs or albums or eras, whatever, that it takes you back to that time in your life when you were first listening to it, or just different memories that you correlate with each song, with each album. So it's really cool to see it all in one concert and to feel that all at one time. That's such a cool feeling.
I will say for me, it's cool that you can like kind of go back to where you were when you heard the songs, as you were saying. But the first concert I saw of hers was 1989. So seeing that and like how it's not upgraded, but like how it's changed since then is crazy. But I also stand by the point, Shake It Off had the most energy of the entire show, and the visuals, killer. Like everybody was having such a good time, like laughing, giggling, dancing during that song. And I just feel like the vibes were like peak at that point. So that was probably like the best song for me to like see and hear visually and like emotionally. Because it's just a good time. It's an upbeat song.
I just I think we could go on about this concert forever. It was so, so fantastic.
I saw someone like a news article yesterday, I think, and it said the Eras Tour is going to be like the Woodstock of our generation. Because they were like, well, not like the bad part, but like monumental wise. It's gonna be that one that like you were either there or you weren't,
Yeah.
and people will talk about it forever, and it'll be like that was such an iconic concert, obviously for different reasons, but it's just like it's one of those history moments.
It's one of those things where like when will you ever see something on such a big scale in concert wise and tour wise as you will right now? Because like as many people are complaining about, and I get why people who don't maybe like Taylor Swift are annoyed, but like if you go to Toronto right now,
Ooh,
everything is Taylor Swift. Everything is Taylor Swift. Every
so
day when I take the subway to school and the go train to school, there's Taylor posters everywhere. There's Taylor posters outside. There's Taylor posters on billboards. There's Taylor posters in the Eaton Center. There are restaurants that have combos designated for Taylor Swift right now. There are like specialty foods. There are specialty drinks. There are street signs that say Taylor Swift Way. There it is everywhere. You cannot escape it. And I personally, I think it's so cool to see
yeah,
that and to see the city celebrating it. And t Toronto's not the only city to do that. So many
yeah.
cities throughout the tour have done that. What city was it where they designated her as mayor for the day? Like that was back last year when she was in
That
the.
was way back, but
But like
yeah.
I'm just like tons and tons of places she has gone to have gone full out for her. And I think that is just such a cool thing. When have you ever seen that happen? And I think it's just such a community thing and really tying it all together and making not you're not only going to a concert at this point, you're going for a full experience. You have to embrace all of it. And I just think it's such a unique way to experience her music in that sense and to have an entire city embracing that. So like you just gotta enjoy it while it's here because that's gonna be gone by next week and it's just so cool to see.
I just, for the people who hate it or like are angry with it, I go back to the point of like, how is this different than it, say, since we're in Canada, if the Maple Leafs made it to the very last game of the Stanley Cup Finals, it would be doing the same thing. Like, come on. For football, because we know people are pissed off with Taylor Swift and football, when the Super Bowl goes on, wherever it's happening goes crazy for that. So the only difference is this is a woman who is singing. Like it's not a sport. And that's the only thing I can think of that makes it different. Because yeah, it's a bunch of girls like walking around trading bracelets. But also think about how much Taylor Swift has boosted every city's economy that she's gone to.
Yeah.
Y'all should be thanking her. Like,
One thing you said with the bracelets, I realized you didn't want to talk about that. I loved trading the bracelets. I thought it would be like, I was like, I hope it's not gonna be awkward. Not that I thought it would be, but like
no.
standing in line being like, hey girl, you want to trade a bracelet? But all of the little girls that we saw, and then they would kind of like look up at you, and then Gracie and I would look down and be like, do you want a bracelet? And their face would just light up, and you'd put the bracelet on them or hand it to them, and they'd be like, thank you. And it was
Like,
just such a cute experience. And even when we were trading with other people, they'd be like, "Oh, what bracelet do you want?" And they would like stick their arm out. And it was just so
I was
funny.
like, I don't care, just give me one.
I'd be like, any of them, I'm good. And then I'd be like trying to read mine. And I'd be like, do you want this one? This one? One of my favorite ones, not favorite ones, this is just a funny one. So Go Transit was giving out bracelets in Union Station as we were walking through Union. And it was right in front of the up um shuttle that goes to the Pearson Airport. And so they gave us two. One says, I'll put a bit, maybe a better picture, but my bottom two says, Go loves you and then up loves you. But it's just a heart, so really it just kind of reads up you. And I'm like, someone did not think that fully through because what why? I just thought it was really funny. But I think my favorite one I made is I'd Lie, which is that very top one with the stars there. I don't know if you really read it. I'd Lie is a song she never even released. It was like an unreleased song that came out like probably around debut time, if not even like that just that time. And somehow I had it on a CD when I was little that my uncle had like burned, like when you burn CDs. And I just religiously listened to that growing up, and I still listen to it on Spotify that people upload as like podcasts and stuff like that that they found online. I love it. And even at Gracie and I both got, and my sister got drinks at
Mhm.
the concert, and with every single drink, like a mocktail or a cocktail, they gave you a friendship bracelet with this. How many Toronto era bracelets do you think are sitting in the Rogers Center right
Oh
now?
my God, so many. I
And
gotta
who
say though,
who made these?
I don't know. My favorite one that I got, it was so coolly made, was this maroon one.
That's really cool. I love that one.
Like, hello. But also some of the like beads that these people used are so bougie. Because like this 13 one right here has like stars, but then this Medias Touch one is literally like it looks like a real bracelet because it's all gold. People, these put mine to shame.
I loved this one. Someone gave me one that says I cry a lot. And
Ooh.
it has they put the smiley face beads upside down, so it's all the frowny faces. I was like, that's great. I love that so much.
I will say too, before the concert, I went to the tailgate that's being held in Toronto. And it was so fun. They had a silent disco, they had costume contests. For the people who couldn't go to the actual Eras tour, they had a live stream that you could just sit and watch and like sing to and whatever. And then they had a bunch of like vendors who are also Swifties, lots of photo ops too. But I got these cute little stickers from this one girl. They're so cute. This is like an Eras Tour ticket for Toronto.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
And then I got like a pack because I was so indecisive. But this one is definitely my favorite. It says, I cry a lot, but I'm so productive. It's an art and it's a little, so yeah, good time. If you can't go to the Eras Tour, or even if you can, go to the tailgate. It's so cute.
So basically, for the concert day, my sister, my mom, and I got to Rogers Center. We got downtown early because we went and hung out at the well. Then they say that you can't start lining up at the Rogers Center until 3:30, which is true. They have a whole barricade around the entire Rogers Center. But obviously, people started lining up on the streets because the roads are closed, so people had started lining up well before that. So we kind of got there around 3-ish. Hopped in the line at our gate. They say that they won't let you in any other gate besides the gate that's on your ticket. I've seen people on TikTok go on other gates, so I don't know how strictly that is enforced. If you're gonna go line up early, I just suggest lining up at the gate you're supposed to because I don't know if they'll actually stop you or not. So that's just what they told us. But go line up early if you really want to get everything in. I mean, I've heard people on TikTok say they got there at like 5:45, still managed to get food, drinks, and merchandise. That would not have been the case for our section up in the 500s, I don't think, because the merch line went like it just kept going around basically to the other merch line, like the next merch line, and they would like take it through and down, kind of down the stairs a little bit. So I suggest getting there early from what I saw. Again, I know people on TikTok are saying other things in their experiences, which is great. From what we saw, I suggest getting there early. We didn't have to buy merch, thankfully, because that line was insanity immediately. People were literally running upstairs as soon as we got into the gates, like up the ramp up to the 500s. But we waited in line to get drinks, to get food. It wasn't horrible. The lines went pretty fast as they do at most places like that. So that wasn't horrible. We still had to wait in line for like 20 minutes. We all wanted to see Gracie Abrams. Obviously, we wanted to be back in our seats. The bathroom lines again, they were long, but they go by fast. The merch line was just the one thing that I saw that I assumed would take quite a long time. So you don't necessarily have to get there right when it opens at 4:30 because the line or the doors don't open until 4:30. So if you're getting in line at like 3, the official line at 3:30, you're still going to be standing there for an hour before they open the security gates and let you inside. And then obviously Gracie Abrams doesn't come on till 6:45. So you still have lots of time. You don't have to get there at 3 or 3:30 to line up, but the line was pretty long. Gracie ended up behind us because she was at the tailgate, but you still weren't that far behind us. I don't know how far in line behind us you were.
My
I,
line, like
I
you
think,
got there and you said you were by the metal detectors,
yeah, we were pretty
just
close.
right by the door.
Yeah.
I got there maybe like 20 minutes after you got there, and I was around the block.
Yeah, it was a pretty long
Like
line,
it
but
was, I was so stressed that we were not going to get in. I say we because the girls that I was standing near were so freaked out because it was just so unorganized down there. There was no security, no Rogers Center's workers, so nobody knew where to go.
which is fair, but also we weren't supposed to be lining up at that point, so I guess that's not really on them. But
Well, they weren't there the entire time, so
they were there because that line separated because that was for our section, but then they separate you into gates 13, 14, 15. We were gate 14.
Mhm.
So it got better once they separated us into lines. I would just say get there early-ish. Like you don't have to be there for 3:30 if you don't want to be. We just wanted to be there to see everything and to just be in there and stuff like that. But you don't necessarily have to be, but I would still say get there early enough if you're planning to get merch, especially because that line from what I saw in our section was very, 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 very long. But to that note, if you're planning to go get merch on some of the other days in Toronto that there are non-show days, that's including November 17th, 18th, 19th, 17th,
Mhm.
and 20th. So basically the Sunday to the Wednesday before her final 3 shows in Toronto, they're doing merch at the Rogers Centre at gates 1, 5, and 9A. You can line up. They have different stores inside the Rogers Centre. You have to go through security checks for that. So you still have to follow bag policy. So you either bring your clear bag that's to size, or if it's a non-clear bag, they also have a size requirement for that. You go through security like you would normally going into Rogers Centre. Then They're selling 13 different pieces of merch. There are a few options for t-shirts, for sweatshirts, for crew neck. For the quarter zip, there is a bracelet, a water bottle, tapestry, and I think that's it. And there are a few pieces of Gracie Abrams merch. I will say the Gracie Abrams merch you can't see until like you're literally at the front of the line. And then they just escort you because there's like 25 workers there. So they have a list for you once you stand in front of the worker though, so you can see it if you don't have time to actually look at the Gracie Abrams merch while you're in line. So yeah, I would say we tried to figure out what we wanted before we went in. Like my mom and my sister were sending me pictures, and then basically everything we picked was not there. So so kind of just be flexible to have different ideas. I feel like now it's easier to know because so many people have posted online what's in store and stuff like that. Mine is the charcoal hoodie with this is really bad to see, but like the poster on the back, it has the dates or the city names. But I got a medium and it is massive. It is true what they
Mhm.
say. If you don't want it to be like pretty big on you, size down for sure.
But to that note, they do shrink a lot.
True.
They do shrink a lot. Like my friend got a medium, and obviously, like this is a medium right now, the quarter zip, and it goes way down. And my friend got the same one, and now it's like just at her waist. So it does shrink a lot.
Fair.
So be wary of what you get.
That's our official guide to anything Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour in Toronto. Only 3 more show days, then she heads to Vancouver, and it is over. That is crazy. But we are just, again, so happy we got to go. Just such a great experience, so grateful for it, and nothing but amazing things to say about the whole experience. So thank you for listening if you're still here to our entire guide and review, I guess, of the Eras Tour. We love you, Taylor Swift. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Taylor Swift. We love you.
But we will be back on Thursday with our regular episodes for you at 10 a.m. So we will see you again on Thursday. Thank you for tuning in today to As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole.
I'm Gracie, and you can watch or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify or YouTube.
We'll see you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye.